So you need to go on and become your own survivor. How do you do that? It's actually relatively simple, despite the fact that it will be hard if all that shit happens. And I'm the first one who doesn't want my house to go more down in value and have harder time selling you doctors and whatever it is. No. But there's a difference what you want and what possibly might happen. So you get a good product, most of you have one. You learn how to market the hell out of it, and in order to market the hell out of it, you better include getting cozy with the public, with the community at large, You understand? You gotta get cozy with the community at large in order to become a marketing expert. Only then, especially in tough times, will the community buy from you. You won't have the money for physical advertising, and people will not believe physical advertising because they have been cheated so much left and right. So they think, that they will only go by, we like the guy. He was part of helping us. He helped me here and there, things which have nothing to do with, let's just say, podiatry or whatever it is you are doing, or plumbing. Okay, that will be the only marketing things there is. And the other one is, instead of investing in dollars, instead of investing in the stock market, instead of putting your money in the bank, go and get yourself the elements which will be hard to get and which will be immediately super expensive if something happens. Food. Yes, food. There's lots of ways out there to have food storage which lasts long. Water, live off the grid. Electricity, to live off the grid. And maybe money which has survived since 5,000 years. Gold and silver. Every other currency has eventually gone down. Okay? You might want to stock up on those things. Because even if you're relatively rich, if money becomes worthless, all of a sudden $1,000 worth $1 or less. So it won't do much. And even if you have lots of money and it still will do something for you, what about if there are no eggs? Because very few people these days produce food. And very few people deliver food. Not like in the 20s, 30s. Where almost everybody produced food, at least a little bit, and where almost everybody delivered it, at least a little bit. If the whole thing collapses now, the chain gets broken so fast, the grocery stores will be empty so fast you won't know what hit you. If grocery stores can get empty during the Rodney King riot, if grocery stores can be empty because a major water pipe somewhere in, I think it was Wisconsin, I don't know where, broke. If grocery stores can be empty in Katrina, and people in Katrina, one little city over there in Louisiana and wherever, one really little city, and all the governments in the world, including the United States government, where this little city is located, cannot feed them, and has to take the people, because they have now no water, they have now no electricity, they have now no food, and put them in a dome where they all get the germs from each other together and get more sick than if they would have just stood where they are. One little city in the United States cannot really help. And don't write it off to a bad president. Okay? It isn't gonna to happen. So those are the areas you might want to take care of. Start with having a good product which you do, learn how to promote it, include the, make friends in the community. Go back 50, 60, 70 years on how marketing was done. You are well known in the community as a jolly good fellow. Not so much as a professional, as a jolly good fellow. People buy, whether it is stock, whether it's plumbing, whether it's medicine, whether it's plastic surgery, it wouldn't matter. They buy from a guy they trust and like. That's the guy they let cut. That's the guy they let look into the mouth. Okay? Learn that stuff and you'll be light years ahead. However, if, and hopefully it never happens, but what if it does happen? What have you lost? Prepare yourself with food, with water to create off the grid just in case the pipelines don't work, with electricity to create, some gasoline, some stuff like that, and money which has proven not to disappear for 5,000 years. If something hasn't disappeared for 5,000 years, it's good for me. The lira hasn't made it, the German mark hasn't made it, the Austrian shilling hasn't made it, and no, the dollar hasn't made it. There wasn't always a dollar. Look back on how the dollar changed. All right? So, realize that this could happen, that hopefully it doesn't happen, that it could happen in various degrees, and realize that the price is increasing, especially if they increase fast, meaning relatively fast, they will always increase out of proportion. The price increase will be much more than what you can charge for your service. The price increase will be much more than your employees will be able to make in terms of increase. It has been like that for the last 30 or 40 years. Prices have increased since the 60s and 70s much more than the salary has gone up for anybody and everybody. Or do you, Mr. Doctor, make more money now than before? Or do you make less money for the same service? And do you have more to struggle with all the costs, no matter what it is? And more regulations. We're not exactly living in a time where our government thinks less regulation is good. No, there will be more regulation. More regulation will mean more computer programs which you need to hire, more people which you need to hire to just keep up with the regulation. You know, more OSHA regulations, more any and all regulations. Regulations will come out your ear. If you think this was a lot up till now, they will come out your ear. Again, that's a trend. It doesn't have to happen if trends change, if the action people in the government change. Now, do you think that the actions the government is taking will change? And by the way, even if Mr. Bernanke decides no more quantitative easing, a crash is imminent, of course. Now you go, so we're losing in either way. Kind of, yes. But once, if the government would not provide this quantitative easing, what they call the market will straighten itself out. Maybe my $1 million house will become 100,000, 50,000, 200,000. It doesn't really matter. But, and yes, there'll be tough times. Yes, there still will be maybe food shortages and also because things will break down on an immediate basis. So you still need to have that preparation, but then it will build itself up again faster, where otherwise you're just suffering a long time, okay, for it to get worse. It's a little bit like a hangover, you know? Drink, oh my God, tomorrow I'm going to have a hangover. I know it already from last time, oh my God. How do you avoid such a hangover? You keep drinking. You keep drinking. You keep drinking. And of course, you know you're probably going to die. And that's kind of what it is. So you might as well face the goddamn hangover and work your way out. But let's assume nothing happens. And let's just say you spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 on preparing yourself to be self-sustained for a half a year or a year, completely and utterly, or 2 years. Anyway, something in that neighborhood. Let's assume nothing ever happens. How often have you wasted $10,000, $20,000, and $30,000? You know, on things which after you looked at and went, nah, why the hell did I do that? A lots of time, I bet. Okay? A lots of time. In fact, by not learning how to market, you lose $10,000 every month, minimally, probably 20, maybe more, but at least that much, just in your profession. You know, the most money you lose is never the money you waste, but always the money you never make. Learn how to make money, and yes, prepare for an immediate problem, because when you immediately are fine and your family is fine, if you do not have to send your wife down to the grocery stores waiting in line and maybe getting bunched by a big bike guy because she's grabbing for the same last gallon of milk than he, all right, then you better go and do a little bit in what I say. But don't just do it because I say it now. Go on the internet. Check out dollar deflation. Check out inflation period. Check out economic crash. Check out real estate crashes of 2010, 11. Check out those things. Okay? And then once you have checked those things out, check a little bit more out. You know, you don't only believe those people either, because obviously one guy could put something on radio, 200,000 other radio stations duplicate what that one guy says. Doesn't necessarily make it true. Absolutely not. do not think you don't understand the economy. Don't make the mistake I actually did. And I didn't really think I don't understand it. I just thought that I have no privy of knowing what's going on there. And if you're not knowing what the data is, you cannot make decisions. So I always thought, like, I really don't know. And I shouldn't mingle with it. I should just take care of my own little self. And I was good most of the time. Okay? But the truth of the matter is, I put 40, 50 people, 60 people in the barrel by doing a real estate investment in 2007 with them. If I would have actually checked out the data, which is actually available out there, of what the government is doing, where the money comes from, what the money does, there is a high chance that I wouldn't have made that mistake. And which is exactly why I will be paying those people who invested with me regardless of what happens. I am well on track to make that happen. The truth is, you can check it out. I didn't for too long, and it was very fine to work just on my own thing, do my own business, do my own things, and never worry about whether the government raises interest or this. It never mattered to me because I know how to create it myself. Okay? But then, of course, I got involved into something where it apparently did matter, when all of a sudden there was a stop on credit almost overnight, and none of the real estates could move. And I realized, I always knew that stock market game is controlled and it is manipulated, and you know, which is why I never played it. Did I think the real estate market is not manipulated? No, I didn't, but I figured I can out-manipulate the manipulation to a certain degree and swim with it. Well, I would I have known what's going on. 100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, study. Because responsibility in life is not about getting caught with your pants down. And realize that all the experts have not predicted the crash. So A, they're stupid and didn't know, blind, or they knew it and didn't tell us. Which way it is doesn't really matter, because they will not tell us the next one. And when they tell us the economy is going to get better because of this, 99% of the time they're wrong. No different than the best football coach in the world can usually not predict who's winning the Olympics. Who would have thought the Italians going to get kicked out in the last Olympic on the first round? Ladies and gentlemen, start looking at the data yourself. And if you must be wrong with evaluating yourself, your data, well, at least you were wrong with yourself. Isn't that why you're in your own business? Because if you're wrong, if you don't make the money you make, at least you are the one who did it. You are the one who was the boss of your business. Yeah, at least that's how I did it. I don't want Mr. Hilton and the 3, 4, 5 top people controlling my destiny by me working for them. All right? I tell all my employees, you should work for some other people. No, you should not work for other people, neither for me, neither for others. You should create your own little thing, because on your own you can do more. This is how this country was created. Everybody was on its own. And then some people became bigger, like Henry Ford and those type of things. All right? And even look at what Henry Ford said, many of his quotes, how he says you've got to stand on your own. You know, you've got to look. You know, the laws of the land are not always in your favor, and they're not always correct. You know, currently we are violating the Constitution left and right. Okay, there's nothing constitutional about it. So, what's the biggest tax you and me are going to have to pay? Inflation, prices going up. That's a tax no Congress has to ever approve. Isn't it wonderful? Wonderful for somebody, not for us. Check it out. This is the outlook for 2011. You can't be in control regardless of what happens. And I'm not saying it all will happen, but it all could happen. Bye-bye.